Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, how are we all doing today? Are any of you using AI or some other form of technology to predict who is going to win the World Cup? Or even who's going to win the Golden Boot? Surely AI and machine learning has some solution up its sleeve. But the thing is with predictions, we only ever get to hear about them after the event. What's that all about? Nostradamus? I'm thinking about you. But enough of my pre-World Cup excitement. I know, you've got no idea how my head works sometimes. Certain words just seem to trigger the most random of thoughts, and I do need to rein myself in sometimes. It seems at the moment almost every aspect of both our personal life and our corporate lives is dominated by technology. But how can a big Fortune 500 company keep a business up to speed with artificial intelligence, blockchain, machine learning, augmented reality, and so many different forms of emerging technology? And how do they know which offers them the best value, which solves their problems in a most efficient way? Because nobody wants to dive into some new shiny technology to find out that actually it's not the right fit for them. So today I want to talk to Dan Hopkins from Apttus, the global middle office leader, because they announced today the creation of their Omni Accelerator group. And this really caught my attention because it's an international engineering and research lab dedicated to innovating groundbreaking middle office solution capabilities, which is also tied to the company's Omni Platform. But what I love about today's announcements is their approach to formalising an innovation process that involves all those cutting-edge technologies that I just mentioned. So I felt compelled to find out more about how the Omni Accelerator team is chartered with exploring, identifying and executing innovative technology and developing opportunities that enhance Apttus's portfolio, but ultimately provide greater value to their customers. So if we have any business leaders listening today wanting to leverage technology and wanting to create efficiencies in the middle office, or even identify emerging technologies that help their customers differentiate from their competitors, I think you're going to love today's episode. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to San Francisco so we can speak with Dan Hopkins, Vice President of Innovation at Apttus, about how they're using tech such as artificial intelligence, blockchain and augmented reality to drive innovation. Welcome to the show, Dan. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
So my name is Dan Hopkins. I am the Vice President of Innovation at Apttus, and I've been with Apttus for about 5 years now. Started off as a sales engineer, sort of deploying our solutions and across the globe, and also had been a sales engineering manager for EMEA for Apttus. So I've been with Apttus for quite some time, and just happy to join in the new role.
Now, Apttus is gaining a big reputation at the moment as a global middle office leader, but for anyone that's just tuning in and a little unsure of what you do, or even what a middle office is, can you just explain exactly what a middle office is?
The middle office is where commerce takes place at the enterprise, and it really encompasses everything that happens from sort of the initial engagement of your prospect through collecting revenue and managing all those commercial relationships in between. So effectively, it bridges the gap between an enterprise's front office sort of CRM system and their back office ERP system. So really at the core of the Apttus Middle Office Omni application is a couple of key application stacks, right? So there's some engines there that we would call quote to cash, enterprise contract management, digital commerce, and supplier relationship management. All of these processes that are fundamental revenue generating and cost management activities that happen across key functional areas of the enterprise. And so all these include sort of configuring the best offer for your customers, managing the pricing, generating quotes, contracts, enforcing and meeting legal obligations, and ensuring accurate billing and revenue recognition, rewarding businesses, and onboarding vendors. So all of that stuff that takes place sort of in between a buyer's intent to purchase something all the way to the recognition of revenue.
So as a result of this middle office, Apttus has created an intelligent middle office platform known as Omni, and that aims, I believe, to resolve long-standing business issues by ending that disjointed and inefficient processes across various functional groups within enterprise organisations. But can you help listeners just visualise some of those pain points that you're actually removing for businesses with Omni?
Yeah, absolutely. So besides providing all of these core applications in the middle office and bringing those what are traditionally in the back office in ERP that are sort of hidden away, hard to configure, hard to use, we're sort of bringing those up to the front office so that people could use these in an intelligent way and an easy to use way to get access to the data that they need to have access to in order to facilitate commerce. And so, if you look at CRM, it's really just managing contacts, opportunities, activities, et cetera. And you look at sort of back office ERP systems, that's when sort of the transaction is done. You're really kind of putting something into an order and then rolling up all those financials. But all of those activities that happen sort of in between those two processes is where the Apttus Omni middle office platform is really facilitating commerce and making it easy for all these users to have sort of a unified data model, all of this information, and all of these applications working together to really produce customer outcomes. So we're really focused on the ideal customer outcomes that these applications can provide. And by putting this all together in one unified platform, we're really accelerating commerce for our customers and making sure that those customer outcomes that they have are recognized and realized.
And you really are doing just that. And I think we should also mention Max, which is an applied AI that also slots into Apttus Omni, which is also incredibly cool. But can you just offer an overview of exactly what Max is and where that fits in with Omni, the middle office platform?
That's right. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So Max is Apttus's AI solution. And so part of that is a conversational user experience. So rather than a user having to learn an enterprise system and sort of log into that system, figure out how to, what processes and what steps that they need to go through, they can simply have a conversation to achieve those business outcomes. So it really removes the friction and addresses the big A word in enterprise software, which is adoption, right?
Yeah.
And so because those users can just naturally have that conversation either via text or by speech to do things like generate a quote, generate a proposal, for instance, or also create like an NDA, for example, or just, have a semantic query on some of their business data. They just go out and ask that question and return that data to them. And so that's one part of Max, which is that conversational user experience, which truly is a paradigm shift on how sort of users interact with their enterprise applications. You think of it as like a Siri or Alexa for the enterprise, right? In addition to the conversational user experience, Max also provides a number of different insights and surfaces sort of trends and white spaces, specific patterns for the user, and help that user really sort of augment their job to help them make decisions, right? So that might be something as pricing optimization or intelligent cross-sell recommendations that Max can provide for those users by simply looking at data and other type of transactions, because Apttus really is maintaining these transactions for this business, sort of unique within the industry. The data model that we have access to powers some really unique AI use cases. And so really that's what we're so excited about Max and bringing that into the application environment, really extending all those core Apttus applications that we have by providing a set of AI and conversational user experience around those applications.
I'm so glad you mentioned the word adoption there, because it seems to me that you're using sophisticated technology to remove so many pain points out there for businesses, but equally many businesses are going to be slightly intimidated by that. So I recently read that you're launching the Omni Accelerator group this week, which is an international engineering and research lab dedicated to the middle office innovation. So can you tell me more about that and why you think the team at Apttus are so excited about how it will guide this product vision and far-reaching thought leadership at Apttus?
In a way, it's really sort of an evolution of the culture that Apttus has had since I've been here, right? Which is always leading in innovation, really always sort of ahead in the marketplace in terms of the technology. I think Max is really proof of that, and that we've been able to roll that out really before anybody else kind of thought about those technologies, at least in the enterprise space. And so what the innovation team that we're creating, the Omni Accelerator, really sort of institutionalizes that and operationalizes that across our business internationally, as you mentioned. And really, the job of the accelerator is to take a look at sort of the Apttus applications, take a look at sort of new emerging technology that's out there, and sort of look at things that the business perhaps might not be necessarily thinking about that really provide a benefit to our customers and a differentiator to our competitors. So we're looking at a number of ways how we can leverage technology, sort of going back again to Max. That was one of those first examples of not only differentiation, but providing true value for our customers. And so we're really looking at these technologies, how we can extend the Apttus application where it makes sense, and then sort of bring those in and work on prototypes with our customers to sort of develop this technology and influence internal product roadmap so that we can continue to be the best of breed for our customers and in our space.
So as a company that is very passionate about working very closely with technology, where do you begin when identifying and implementing emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain and augmented reality, and that list goes on? How do you determine what you focus your attention on?
It's a good question, right? Especially when there's just so much technology out there to evaluate, and it's always changing. So really the first point of where we sort of assess and identify technologies, that's actually pretty easy. It's what our customers want, right? And what our customers not only want now, but it's where they sort of are going into where they want to be in the future. So, we actually have a customer working group where we've invited our customers to participate. So it's sort of a symbiotic relationship in terms of the innovation. We kind of push some of the stuff that we're thinking about and introducing to our customers. They can kind of help prioritize. And then we solicit some information on what do they want to see in the products. So it's really, a customer-first sort of innovation model where we think about, what benefits them most. But it is sort of a yin and yang, as I mentioned, of the type of technologies that we can push within our application. Sometimes the customers don't even know, what it is exactly that they want. And so when they see things, Max kind of had this at the beginning where they never even thought that they needed a conversational agent. But then seeing this and bringing this to them, they're like, wow, this solves so many sort of challenges for adoption and removing the friction in the process that they really bought into it. So, there's a little bit of yin and yang, I would say, between our customers of what it is that they want us in the product and what we can sort of think that would benefit them. And sort of that then synthesizes into the directive of the department.
So how do you think the introduction of the Omni Accelerator group is going to help with that proof of concepts to demonstrate, to test, and ultimately measure potential market adoption?
It is the mandate that we have. It's not just to find those technologies, but to really focus on improving the business outcomes, right? And so really by kind of putting this in its own sort of innovation lab and removing it from the product teams themselves, obviously they continue to be involved, and that's also symbiotic where the product teams is interacting with us and we're interacting with them in terms of sort of directing future roadmap. But by putting in its own group, it allows them to really focus on the core applications and create a hub of true innovation where that's our only mandate, not necessarily just meeting milestones to ship product, but really figure out how we can improve product overall for our customers, for an experience that's best for our customers.
So from the outside looking in, it seems that the whole team at Apttus are passionate about technology and almost evangelise that spirit of innovation. Is that really the case?
Absolutely. I brought that up earlier about sort of when we were talking about the innovation team that we've been created, is that that's really been sort of the forefront in Apttus's culture, and I think that really brings itself to bear, in our marketplace positioning, right? I mean, we wouldn't be the leader across all of these different applications if we didn't have a primary focus on sort of innovation, sort of thought leadership, and more importantly, being able to take all of those and applying it for our customer base, right? And so, those have always sort of happened at Apttus in silos. We have a lot of smart people across the organization, but if you look at the different applications that we have, and there's a few, sort of the innovation was sort of happening individually, not necessarily across sort of one unified strategy. And so this really sort of was the operationalization of taking those best units, figuring out what is priorities across the application stack, and now with Omni, that becomes even more important and paramount, and that is the genesis of sort of this new team, as being able to sort of just take everything that we've had as a culture and everything that we've had from a technology innovation standpoint, operationalize that in one group to have even greater impact for our business and our customers.
Well, a huge thank you for coming on the show today. There's so many big talking points. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to continue that conversation with you guys. So could you just remind the listeners of where they can find out more information online about Apttus Middle Office, the solutions that you offer, and also anything that we've talked about today?
The best and easiest place is just our website at apttus.com, and that's spelled APTTUS, so 2 T's, only 1 P. So you can check us out there, and you can double-click into sort of your focus area, including the Apttus Omni Middle Office. And then, of course, there's some social media profiles, too, as well, all of which you can sort of find on the website and get more information from there. And, of course, if you have any questions, just call your local Apttus office, whether it's in EMEA, APAC, or North America. There's somebody there to help you.
I love how you mentioned early on in the episode there about the evolution of Apttus, and I think that's so evident everywhere you look. So I was at the Accelerator event with you guys a few weeks ago, and Kurt Krapp, the CEO there, and his keynote blew me away, and I still refer to it now to my friends and family, and I've had to look up the story behind it because it's completely fascinating. But how you're using technology to actually help Apttus evolve is just inspirational. So a big thank you for coming on today and sharing that story. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having us.
What I love about this approach by Apttus is that they seem to be stepping up their responsibility of actually setting the pace of thought leadership around technological advancement in that middle office area which they're specialising in. Although before today's episode, many people listening probably wasn't aware of what the term middle office means. As soon as Dan explained it there, it's something that everybody can relate to because that middle office area has been full of inefficiencies and pain points for too long. And it's great to see how the team at Apttus are using tech to really make a difference. But it's also at Apttus are focused on innovation that will ultimately provide unprecedented value to their customers and their ecosystem that focuses on delivering value and solving those frustrations for their customers. And that goes a long way with me. But hey, what do you think? As always, email me your thoughts, expertise, insights, pics of where you listen to the show, World Cup predictions, or even just say hello by emailing me at techblogwriter@outlook.com or equally tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. But I'm afraid we're out of time now, gang, and that's it for today's episode. So all that's left for me to say is a big thank you for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.